Reagan, and you're watching Crash Course World History. And today we'll be learning about the Aztec Empire.
Miss Smith, why does the Aztec Empire have such a profound and excessive impacts on the lives of those living in Mexico and those with Mesoamerican heritage?
Whoa! That is way too complex of a question to be asking this early in the show. We'll get to that later. The Aztecs began as a nomadic tribe living in northern Mexico around the beginning of the 13th century. They were an elite, materialistic empire centered around Central America, and the first leader was Macapichli. The Aztec consisted of three major cities: Texcoco, Tlacopan, and
Tenochtitlan.
Tenochtitlan.
No, it's Tenochtitlan.
Tenochtitlan.
Tenochtitlan was the capital of the empire. Centered in modern-day Mexico City, it was one of the largest cities in the world at that time, with more than 140,000 inhabitants. It was located on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco. And like Venice, it's serviced by canals. They also had floating gardens called chinapas, which were small rectangular areas of fertile land used to produce the city's crops. The Aztec civilization was highly developed socially, artistically, and intellectually. By the 16th century, the Aztecs ruled over 500 states and 5 to 6 million people, though there were no specific borders. At its height, the empire stretched all the way from the Pacific to the Gulf, and from central Mexico to El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. The people of the empire supported themselves through fishing, hunting, and farming. Their main crop was maize. Maize. But they also produced large amounts of tomatoes, tamales, and tortillas.
Oh my!
Children were educated by their parents and in school in the arts of welfare, religion, and citizenship. And they were harshly punished if they disobeyed. Now for the open letter.
An open letter to Doña Maria, aka La Malinche. You're awesome. In the face of the bloodshed of the Spanish conquest, you enabled Cortez to negotiate. You promoted peace and saved thousands of Indian lives from slaughter. You were an interpreter because you learned both the Nahuatl and Mayan dialects. Cortez had even written, "After God, we owe this conquest of New Spain to Doña Maria." You helped communications between the Indians and the Spaniards and are known as the mother of all Mexicans. But you never get enough credit. We should really do something about that. Oh well, best wishes, Mary Kay Godfrey.
The Aztec Empire had a hierarchical system with the king or high priest at the top. The priesthood, who were often members of the royal family, were below. They watched the stars and planets, made predictions, and sacrificed people. Underneath them were the powerful nobles who controlled the government, slaves, and the goods and services of the commoners.
Beneath the nobles were the merchants and the artisans, who made goods and facilitated trade. The lowest class was made of the poor, the servants, and the slaves.
The people of the empire were assigned to their born class, but it was possible for them to move up the social pyramid.
Another aspect of Aztec life was human sacrifice. The people believed they owed a blood debt to the gods. They were obsessed with blood. Animals, as well as human tributes, would be sacrificed, and people would often cut themselves to offer their blood up to the gods. Thousands of people were sacrificed each year in various ways, such as burning, drowning, mutilating, but the most common was cutting out the beating heart of the tribute, then beheading them. Aside from its religious significance, human sacrifice instituted fear in the hearts of the people. It was really just a peachy time. The great Aztec Empire fell in the early 16th century to Spanish invasion. The conquistador Hernan Cortez landed in a village near Guatemala, trained his army, and invaded Tenochtitlan. The Aztecs treated his men as honored guests and him as a god. Cortez murdered thousands. The Aztecs resisted greatly, but in the end were eventually taken over. More than 240,000 people died, which effectively ended the empire.
I never get enough credit around here. All in all, the Aztec Empire affected the lives of everyone living in Mexico. They were an advanced empire we can look up to for advice. Thanks for watching!
We're assigned to their born class. Miss Smith, why? Cut it, stop.
Living in Mexico.
Reagan, this is why you never get anything done. Wow.
There's large amounts of tortillas, tomatoes,